Hi, guys. Thank you for joining me today. I am a little bit out of my comfort zone. Doing videos is not my thing, but I decided to get a little vulnerable and just share what's on my mind. I had a conversation with my conscious leadership group this morning, and one of the things that we talked about was receiving. And so I shared with the group that this is something that has really come to the forefront for me recently is where in my life I am refusing to receive or, turning down gifts from people and just not being very gracious or gratitude. And, this is a problem. I can definitely see how this is an issue for me and the results in my life and my communications and interactions with other people in my life is definitely bringing this to my awareness. So what I would like to do is a small challenge that I created for myself just to practice becoming more aware of where I am choosing not to receive, and most importantly, practice becoming more aware of the opportunities to receive. So I would really like to make a shift in my life, and I think this little challenge I've created might go a long way in helping me to do that. And part of that for me is sharing this with all of you and asking for some help and accountability in regards to this. So if this speaks to you and it's something that you feel you yourself struggle with, then I invite you to join me and, let's receive together. But I'll give you a little backstory and just kind of fill you in on what's going on and what I'm thinking and, just share any feedback that you might have. Thank you for taking the time to spend with me and listen to what I have to say. So to start things off, something that's really shown up for me recently is that I've been noticing that I spend a lot of time sitting in the feeling of being unappreciated. So if you've ever spent some time here, then I don't have to tell you, this is not a very joyful place to be. And while talking through this issue with my conscious leadership accountability group this morning, I came to the conclusion that for me to be feeling unappreciated, I must be behaving unappreciative in some area, somewhere in my life. So when I dug into this a little bit further, I was able to see where I still have some major blocks to receiving. And I would definitely like to shift this. So in my life, I consider myself to be a natural giver. I love to give. There have been periods of time that I can remember believing my sole purpose here is to just give as much as I can, no matter the cost to myself, no matter what it costs me mentally, physically, emotionally, or spiritually. Just give as much as I can. That's my purpose. That's how I felt important. That's how I felt I mattered and that I make a difference. And obviously, it's a little absurd. It not working very well for me. Oh my goodness. So I've done a lot of work in that area and trying to shift some of that behavior and take better care of myself. Of course, with all development of ourself, this comes in so many layers. So while looking at this part of me, there's a few things that quickly came to mind. Like, for instance, I frequently turn down offers of assistance, whether it be something small, like carrying my bags to the car at the grocery store, or something that I perceive to be potentially have more of an effect on my life. I frequently find myself resentful when my family doesn't offer assistance in the areas that I believe they should, even though I never actually asked them. But instead, I just bitched, whine, complain about how stressed I am or how much of a burden it all is, and, passive aggressive. Evidently, that's been my game. Even sometimes I'm aware of that, and sometimes I'm not. So it's not working for me. Sometimes my husband gives me gifts, and I find myself complaining about the money he spent rather than graciously receiving. Self-worth issues, anyone? A really big thing that I've noticed recently is the way I act when my kids don't receive from me and give me the gratitude that I'm craving. So, am I really just, am I giving to receive? I don't know. I don't know if that's such a good idea. Something else I noticed is when I do finally accept that I could use some help and it comes time to ask for it, I literally have a visceral reaction to it. I get really upset. I get hot. I start sweating. The tears start flowing. Sometimes I can't even get the words to come out. I start beating myself up. I hear that voice in my head that says, you should be able to handle this. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, oh my gosh. And I can see that reaction in my daughter. It breaks my heart. So, of course, I attribute that to my own unconsciousness in this area of my life and my parenting reflecting that. So I could go on and on about all the important areas of my life that I've been failing to receive. Probably forever. I don't know if you got that kind of time. But I'm much more interested in sharing what I'm planning to do about it and why I'm sharing all of this with you, because that for me is exciting and I can feel my energy shifting already. The truth is that if we are only givers, we wind up resentful and frustrated and often feel taken advantage of or like a martyr. And the truth is that to receive is as much of a gift to the giver as it is the receiver. This is something I've been aware of for a long time, but it's not something that I've truly known on a cellular level. I know my behavior of this and this particular area is not the expression of my authentic self. I no longer want to be the person that robs others of the joy of giving. And I certainly don't want to model this way of being to my kids anymore. Because we're all worthy of receiving all that is available to us. And it is our divine right. It's spiritually appropriate to receive. So with that said, today begins my 14-day challenge of choosing to receive. Every day I will practice being aware of opportunities to receive. I will ask those in my daily life to hold me accountable and to call me out when I'm not choosing to receive and I'm missing those opportunities, because I may not realize it. It's a little out of my comfort zone. So I'll be so grateful for those that are willing to walk this journey with me and to participate and play with me and just kind of give me a little nudge, hey, you deserve this. Hey, I'd really like to give this to you, because I think we all need that sometimes. And I definitely need that. So I'm asking all of you that spend time with me on a daily basis to hopefully maybe just take a little bit of time out of your day or in your interactions with me and just bring it to my awareness, bring it to my attention. If you notice that I'm dismissive or that I'm ungrateful or that I'm just not accepting whatever is offered to me in any way, shape, or form. So every day I will actively seek opportunities to receive, and I will document and share these opportunities and whatever comes up for me along the way throughout this process. I really want to share because I am a firm believer that sharing is caring, and that, when we share, we heal together. So, some of my struggles and the things that I'm going through, maybe it'll resonate with you and it's, maybe it'll be helpful to you in some way just to kind of hear my story and join in, if you want. So I invite you to join me if receiving is an area that you too struggle with. I also invite you to share your experiences or even just share some ideas for opportunities to receive. I'm so interested in hearing your feedback and advice and ideas, and I'm really excited to get started on this. So excited that I've already started before I left work today, and today I chose to receive by asking for some feedback and advice from a coworker of mine regarding a situation with my children and how I have been reacting and not being as conscious as I would like to be in my communications with them. So just asking for a different perspective and sharing some of what I was going through. And I was able to ask for some wisdom from Jesse, and it was so helpful. It was so great that he shared his perceptions of this particular situation and what he thinks about it, and just some general feedback. And there was so much wisdom in all of that. So I am so grateful, and it felt really good. It felt good to ask and receive. It's like, I guess that fear sometimes that shows up of not being perfect or being wrong or whatever. There's a lot that goes along with all of this. So it felt so good to ask and to actually receive, and to sit in his joy of being able to give. Like, that was awesome. And it's definitely an experience that I can go back to and reference when I want to remind myself of why it's so important to give and receive, and why it's so important to actually receive and allow others the gift of giving. So thank you for tuning in, and please share your comments and ideas, and you'll be hearing from me soon.